What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to get into TNA Impact from June the 26th, 2025. A very solid show, very good show. It felt like they were live, but it was taped. But this show was really solid, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We are about 3 weeks away until Slammiversary. They're still building matches for the card. We got some matches that were announced here on this show. So overall, the show was pretty good. So we kicked the show off with Joe Hendry. He comes out, he gets a massive reaction. So he gets on the mic and he thanks the fans for sticking with him for the last couple of months. However, Joe Hendry has had challenges. He knows that the fans have had his back, and he appreciates it. The reason that he gets along with the fans is because they're honest with each other. Therefore, he has, to be honest right now, he lost. He lost to Trick Williams. He lost the TNA World Heavyweight Championship to someone who doesn't even work in TNA, and it's painful. Joe Hendry says it would be easy for him to pack his bags and go home, so he didn't have to face the pain. It's the fans, though, that keep him coming back to work. Trick Williams has something that belongs to Joe Hendry and TNA, and the title belongs to the fans. It was the fans that put Joe Hendry in the position that he's in. Joe Hendry worked so hard to get to TNA, and the fans put him in the main events and on WWE PLEs. The fans helped Joe Hendry and TNA to make history. Joe Hendry's going to try something since the fans believe. He asked the fans to help him to get his redemption. A very good promo. It wasn't but about, at best, 3 to 5 minutes, but it was a really solid promo. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and this is good. Really good stuff here. Moving on. This leads us into Killer Kelly. She had a backstage promo. She didn't really say much of anything. She said that she's going to hurt Masha and cause her a bunch of pain and suffering. She doesn't understand why Masha left her to be a afterthought, but she's going to make her pay, and she's going to make a request that her match next week is going to be a chain match. So it's going to be Masha Slamovich versus Killer Kelly for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Steel chain match. That's pretty cool. That's interesting there. Nice. Hopefully that will main event. I like this. I like what they're doing with Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly. Both are good wrestlers. I love the tag team of MK Ultra. I hope that this leads to a feud and this is not a one and done. We know Killer Kelly, she's now, a mom, which is great. So congrats to her. It's fine. So yeah, moving on. This leads us into the first match of the night. Zachary Wentz defeats Ryan Nemeth. Who cares? Zachary Wentz gets the win via, I guess, the Swanton Bomb or whatever he's calling it. No, he wins via the neckbreaker cutter that he does. So really good stuff there. Moving on. So Trick Williams is backstage with Gia Miller. Trick says that Trick says that he's asked about his title defense against Joe Hendry being made official for TNA Slammiversary. He claims that he's ready for the Irish boy and predicts that AJ Francis to beat Mike Santana in their street fight later on in the show. So pretty good little promo there. Nothing too all important. Moving on. This leads us into the Knockouts #1 Contender Battle Royal. So it's basically just a bunch of... Well, hold on, wait, my bad. I'm sorry about that, guys. Before we get to that, Masha Slamovich, she's backstage. She's the one who actually issues the chain match for Killer Kelly next week. Okay, so my bad. So that's fine there. Ariana Grace runs in and says that she's working on something big, but she can't say what it is yet. So that's fine. Then this leads us into the Knockouts Battle Royal #1 Contender match. It's basically just a bunch of low mid-card people involved. We had Spitfire in there. The Elegance brand and the Inspiration, they both eliminated each other, which was great, made sense. The final two came down to Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell. Then Ashley Elegance showed up from behind, and she eliminates both of them. So she wins the match. So then post-match, Masha comes out. She has a stare down with Ashley Elegance. She knows, so she didn't have to stare down with Ashley Elegance briefly. Then we see JC Jane show up, and that's pretty cool. So they all three have a stare down. So I'm guessing this is going to be a triple threat match, probably, maybe at Slammiversary. I guess I don't know. I don't like this. We all know that JC Jane is going to lose to Jordan Grace at Evolution a week before. So, yeah, I mean, there's that. I mean, this is fine. It fucking sucks that Tessa didn't win or that Indy didn't win, but, I mean, it's fine. I see where they're going with this. Tessa and Indy Hartwell don't need the title just yet. I feel like they're going to have Masha at least be champion for a year. So she's probably going to be a champion for the remainder of the year. I'm guessing she'll probably lose next year. I want to say anywhere between Genesis and Rebellion next year. So I feel like they're going to give her a long reign. And it makes sense. I mean, she should have the championship for at least a year. At least that. At least. But who would take it off of her? I don't know. I mean, obviously, Tessa Blanchard would be the perfect choice because she's a great heel. I mean, I know they're going to push Indy Hartwell, but she just got there too. So, but Indy and Tessa, they have a feud going on, so that's great. So they'll probably have that match between the two of them. My bad, I'm sorry. They'll probably start their feud probably at Slammiversary. So, there's that. Moving on. Then this leads us into the call to arms match. Mustafa Ali defeats John Skyler. It really wasn't that long of a match, really. So Ali took out some scissors. He cuts his rope. And then he ends up beating John Skyler via the 450 splash. So post-match, Mustafa Ali is about to beat the shit out of John Skyler some more. Jason Hodge shows up to make the save. He gets shoved down. Tasha Steelz shows up. She gets shoved down as well. And then Tasha jumps in to save both Skyler and Hodge. And then Cedric Alexander comes out to a really good reaction. Mustafa Ali, he drops the chair. And him and Cedric have a brief little stare down. The crowd was into this. And then there was a tug of war between Mustafa Ali and Cedric to grab Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz ended up siding with Cedric. And basically it ended up with the Order 4 minus Mustafa Ali staring down Mustafa Ali. This is great. This makes perfect sense. I'm glad that Cedric is in TNA. He got a really good reaction. This is why I was thinking that it was live, but it wasn't. This was taped. But this was really, really good. Clearly, this is going to start their feud. It's going to start at Slammiversary, which is what I predicted. I thought they were going to bring Cedric Alexander in at Slammiversary, but they ended up making him, bringing him in tonight, which was great, and I love that. This is excellent. This is perfect. Cedric being at TNA is perfect. I know a lot of people were thinking he was going to go to AEW and join the Hurt Syndicate. Not so. I thought that too, but it didn't happen. And it makes perfect sense. The main reason is we don't know how long the Hurt Syndicate are going to be pushed. We don't know. And I would assume that Lashley and MVP and Shelton Benjamin, they probably only signed a 2-year deal for AEW. I think that Cedric showing up at TNA is great. And it makes sense. After his feud with Mustafa Ali, I would expect for him to go after the X Division title. And I think TNA is probably going to rebuild the X Division and the Knockouts division simultaneously. They both need it. Both divisions desperately need it. They just do. So, there's that. But this was really great. The crowd was into this, and I can't wait for Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander at Slammiversary. Moving on, I forgot to mention after all that took place, there was a stare down between the System and Matt Cardona. Who cares? They just stare each other down and all that. So Moose, he shows up. He says that Leon Slater is in the biggest match of his career at Slammiversary. For Moose, it's just another Sunday. Matt Cardona interrupts, and he knows what the System is. Eddie Edwards says that Matt Cardona didn't even work in TNA and doesn't have a problem with beating his spray tan off of him. Eddie Edwards is going to talk to Santana Marella for their match next week. Who cares? And then Brian Myers and Cardona, they have a brief stare down. Who cares? I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. Moving on, this leads us into the Hardys. They defeat the Northern Armory. The Northern Armory, they suck. They're just work rate guys. These guys will be better off in Scott D'Amore's promotion, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, or just being job guys in AEW or MLW. It doesn't really matter. So post-match, Jeff Hardy, he calls out Leon Slater. Matt Hardy says that Leon Slater's been working hard every day. He says that Leon Slater is a future star and is on the road to Slammiversary. At Slammiversary, Leon Slater will become a record breaker. Slater will become the youngest the youngest TNA X Division champion in the history of TNA. The Hardys know what Slater will do it. So the crowd chants for Slater. Slater then thanks the Hardys and said that he won't just show up at Slammiversary. He's going to show out. He's going to live forever or die in New York trying. Slater's not just doing it for himself. He's also doing it for his mom and his little sister and the fans. He's going to make the Hardys proud. And he's been hearing Moose talk about how he's the greatest X Division champion of all time. Moose better get ready for the toughest night of his life. Moose has a match next up. So Leon Slater is going to join the commentary table. Okay, that's fine. Let's lead us into a triple threat match with Moose defeating two jobbers. Who cares? Moose wins. And that was that. There was a brief stare down between Moose and Leon Slater because Moose was going to beat up one of the jobbers some more. And so Leon Slater made the save. That's fine there. Good shit there. Leon Slater is awesome. He's TNA's version of Javon Evans, which is great. I am a fan of both Javon Evans and Leon Slater. I would love for them to be in a tag team. I think that would be legit. That would be really fucking cool to see. Really cool shit there. But it seems like Leon Slater is going to basically win. There's no need to push the system anymore in TNA, all right? TNA needs to get rid of Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan, Diener, Eric Young, and his faction and all that. Get rid of these bums and move the fuck on. Give them to Scott D'Amore and move on and bring in people that you know that you can get. Main event of the evening. Mike Santana defeats AJ Francis in a street fight. Trick Williams comes out towards the end of the match. Joe Hendry comes out. They have a brawl. And then this leads to AJ Francis getting put through a table via the Death Valley Driver, which was great. Then Mike Santana, he ate a Styles Clash from AJ Francis, which is pretty good. He actually did pretty well doing that. Then AJ Francis was about to bring in the champagne bottle. Mike Santana ducked, and then he hit Moose with the bottle, and then he hit spin the block for the 1-2-3. Post-match, Mike Santana gets on the mic and says that he's worked hard to get where he is today, and he thanks the fans. Mike Santana is not called the standard of TNA for nothing. When the TNA World Heavyweight Championship is mentioned, his name has to be mentioned too. Mike Santana says that he wants to be a part of the main event at Slammiversary. He says Santino Marella knows what to do, and that Santino Marella owes him one. And Santana said that he's not going to go to New York to lose. Okay, so that's cool there. I figured it was going to be a triple threat match anyway. It makes the most sense. Why wouldn't Mike Santana basically get a rematch? Same thing with Joe Hendry. I mean, I don't like triple threat as much as the next guy, but this is where we're at. Who wins? I'm going to go with Mike Santana, obviously. I mean, he's basically in his hometown, basically. I mean, he's going to be the hometown hero, basically, pretty much. You can always have Trick, chase after, being TNA champion again if he wants. But I think once Trick loses, he'll probably get caught up to the main roster. Joe Hendry, I'm guessing you don't want to turn Joe Hendry heel, but he could get his rematch down the line as well. And, there's that. But I'm expecting for Mike Santana to win. It just makes the most sense. We'll have to wait and see how things play out. Before I forget, there was also something else on the show. It's not really that important, but I want to mention it anyway. And that is... well, no, never mind, my bad. I mentioned everything. Okay, my bad, okay. Yeah, okay, so, that's fine. I mentioned everything. So, TNA was pretty good for the most part. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Cedric Alexander showing up was great. He got a great reaction, so we finally have the debut of Cedric Alexander. I am happy for that. I'm looking forward to Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander at Slammiversary. I'm looking forward to the triple threat match with Trick Williams, Mike Santana, and Joe Hendry. There's going to also be a fatal 4-way for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. It's going to be the Hardys, the Nemeths, the Rascals, and First Class in a fatal 4-way ladder match. I don't like that, but my money's going to be either on the Hardys or the Rascals winning. So, there's that. But what did you guys think of TNA? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.